They're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
I am kind of tempted to just do the two Unleashed movies because that's just really good. I don't know.
It is funny that there's two movies called Unleashed that are
It's really
completely
funny.
different.
They're wildly different.
Yeah.
Also, that Kate Mikushi one sounds fucking wild.
Yeah, her dog and cat turn into two cute, perfect guys that help her reconsider her outlook on dating. What does that mean?
Does she want to fuck her dog? Does Kate Mikushi fuck dogs? Is that what we're getting?
I don't know.
What I'm getting at is I need to know if Kate Mikushi fucks a dog.
I don't know. I
Um,
read that and I'm like, what the fuck? So,
God. Okay, listen, we gotta. I have too many questions about Unleashed.
you know how much we loved Love on a Leash, and we wish there was more of that.
Yes, absolutely. But only
Okay.
if it's Kate Mikushi and she doesn't just fuck a dog, she also fucks a cat.
Anyway, welcome to.
And a horrible troll named Carl.
Yes.
Hi, welcome to Rough Cuts. This is your host, Ilian, and my wonderful co-host, The Boyks. We're a
Yes.
podcast about good boys and bad movies. That's right, bad dog movies.
And today we watched Unleashed, the 2016 indie romantic comedy.
Starring Jet Li, who is like a dog man who gets trained to kill.
No, that's the other Unleashed. We didn't watch that one yet.
Oh.
This is Kate Mikuchi, aka
Kate
Velma.
Mikuchi fucks Jet Li.
Yeah, Velma,
Mm-hmm.
the voice of Velma. Sam.
Sam Gamgee from
Yeah,
Lord of the
Sam
Rings.
Gamgee
Yep.
from Lord of the Rings, Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution, and Weatherby from the Dead or Alive live action movie.
Yay! It's like a Ready Player One for dog fucking. Tagline.
Actually, do you know what the tagline of this movie
Unleashed is?
Yeah, did you know what that tagline is?
I didn't.
I do, and it's even worse than you think. It's even worse.
Well, mine was pretty good.
The tagline is "Love is a four-legged word." Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
It's nasty. So, like,
I want it nasty.
Okay, so Love on a Leash.
I have to say that because I liked this movie.
Yeah, because you're a sicko. You're standing outside the window.
I'm just sitting out the window. I'm like staring in this. I was at the drive-in theater, just like yeah. Like,
yeah. So, Love on a Leash is a movie about like a woman who wants to marry her dog or something. So the dog turns into a human and
She
abuses
wishes for
and
it,
all this other
yeah.
shit. She wishes for it, and that happens. And then there's a lot of things.
They're both
right?
very abusive to each other, and then the dog fucking gets hit by a car. Spoilers, and
Finally.
everyone's happy.
Yeah, in this movie, Kate Mikuchi wishes that her pets were like that. There were guys like her pets. Is her wish, which the monkey paw curls, and instead her pets become hot guys.
Yes,
and then she dates both of them.
Hell yeah, she does. She
And you would
sleeps
think,
with both of them.
And considering how much we hate Love on a Leash for a lot of reasons, somehow this is the opposite of that.
As it turned out, the deal breaker for a Love on a Leash style movie was not the pet fucking.
I mean, it is, but
it is also that. Yes, yeah, fair.
But also, like, I don't know. There's something about this film that's like really stupid and charming.
This movie is a lot of like the stereotypical humor, quote unquote, about cats and dogs of like, oh, the cats are all aloof but they've got style and they know what they want, and like dogs are all just dumb and just follow you around and sniff at you and sniff butts, man, and it's all that, but the actors and the script and the way that it's shot is done with, instead of like, I feel like that can be handled with a lot of cynicism and weirdness, and
Yes.
this was handled with a lot of charm and earnestness, and it makes it work.
Yeah, and like the characters and the actors are actually having fun during
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
it.
That's what I
Like
mean. Like the
it
charm and
doesn't.
earnestness of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's just like gritty bullshit
Well,
at
and it's
all.
never making fun of it where like it's never crude in a way where it's like, oh, did you see, that's gross. Like it doesn't do
Yeah,
that stuff. When the dog does things, because the dog humps like a printer,
sure
or
does.
like
Yeah.
the dog man humps a
Yeah, when you
printer,
say
or
the
like
dog, you mean the hunky man who used
the
to be
hunky
a
man
dog.
dog. Yes. And
Yes.
like he wonders why he can't pee outside and things like that. But it's it's not done in a way where they're like, oh, look at this idiot, aren't dogs stupid and stuff. It's like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, like, oh god, dogs would be weird if they were people. Like it's done in a very like
Yes.
light-hearted, charming way, which is, it walks a very fine line, this movie.
This movie at any moment could just take a hard turn to Creepsville.
Yes.
Any
You
moment.
I think that there was a point in the movie where I was like, I'm kind of enjoying this. You're like, I am too, except for the implied threat. Like the threat that at any moment this could just
Because
take
every scene is
a
just, oh
tiny
god, no,
stumble.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no. And then it doesn't. And you're like,
and then it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't quite get bad. It treads this line of like, oh, is this gonna
yeah.
be, oh no, don't have her fuck the, well, yeah, oh, okay,
Okay, I
that's
mean that's
not,
kind
that's
of funny what
fine.
happened. Yeah,
Huh,
that's fine.
huh.
It's fine. It's like any moment, and they allude a lot to sex play stuff. By
Oh
the way,
yes.
so much. Any moment could have just gone way off the deep end with that, and they just
Mhm.
left it at wholesome somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
how.
like you said, it goes into a lot of the sex play stuff, but like as an example, there's an early scene where the dog first turns into a man and is walking around with a collar
Hmm.
and like some garbage that he wrapped around his junk because he didn't have anything
Sure.
else to clothe himself in. When he arrives like Terminator
He
2,
Terminator 2's,
he
yes,
like has arcs of
naked in the
lightning going
woods.
around him
Like
and stuff. Yeah.
not in the it's like naked in a parking lot. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, naked in like a parking lot, like
Yeah.
kneeling down with lightning around him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he comes out and he's next to like a, BDSM dungeon, and they're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
you got a collar on, huh?" And you're like, "Okay, they're gonna make fun of the BDSM people, and it's gonna
Yeah,
be
they're
like,
doing
oh, isn't this
the
gross?"
the
And
pet play gross shit. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I have a collar. Oh, it has a tag on there, huh? Oh.
it's like, what does
Yeah, it's
that
got my
say?
name, my address. Can you tell me where it is? I need to know where my address is. I want to go home." Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but the thing is
Yeah.
that also the guy's like, "Oh, that's, that collar's really cute." And stuff. And it's just,
Yeah.
it does it in a very, so there's never a moment where it's done as,
It's never
oh
like
well,
that's
aren't these
gross.
BDSM
Yeah.
people gross? It's done as, oh haha, he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But then it's also done as like, oh, the BDSM people are just trying to help him, they're just really nice people. Like
Yeah, they're just
it's
normal,
not
nice people.
laughing
Yeah, I
at
don't.
them, which is nice, right? Like, because you could very much see it turn into the like, see, he goes into the BDSM dungeon and he's like, oh no, this is what I wanted, and they like take it really far and but they don't do that
Like
stuff.
like
None
if
of
it
that
was a Wayne's
happens.
Brothers movie.
Yes, or any other movie that we would watch for
Yeah,
this
any
podcast would do
comedy
that,
film, yes.
right? Like, but and this
That
is a comedy, but it just
yes.
it pulls it back from those things and is, instead of punching down and laughing at all the things like that, it's just kind of like, oh no, it's just fish out of water, don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah. So this movie does have 5 tags on Internet Movie Database. So the tags are cat, dog, transformation, male nudity, and more specifically, male rear nudity. Those are the top 5 tags for this film. And God, there is a lot of male nudity
there's
and
a
butt. There's a
I,
little bit of butt and a lot
okay,
of abs and chest. It
Sure.
we
I
were
mean,
saying
that's
like this is a better Twilight.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. She has a cat man and a dog man. She wants to fuck
Mhm.
them both, and they both love her, and she
Mhm.
gets her way. She gets whatever she wants.
Yeah, and she
Kate
cuddles up
Micucci can
against
get it, is what I'm
Kate
saying.
Micucci cuddles up against one to prevent hypothermia while the other one watches. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the
as they
same
do.
shit.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't happen in
That
this
doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. No. This movie, it's hard to talk about, to
It's
be
cute.
honest. Like, it's cute somehow. I don't know how. I don't know
Again, I
how.
think that it's the earnestness. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of movies would take this premise and make it a very cynical movie about like how awful regular men are and all kinds of things like that. And it goes into that a bit, but also it is ultimately about her deciding to love again after a really horrible relationship. Holy
Yes.
shit. Um
And not
let's get into the
relying on her
plot, I guess.
relationship with her pets, I guess.
Yeah.
And her reliance on them for comfort,
Yeah,
I
I think that
guess.
it's
A
just
little
yeah, I
bit.
think that it's just about her learning to love people again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A
It's
little, I
about
think
her
that's it.
learning
Yeah.
to love and trust other people again rather than just her pets, but also not that like her pets are bad for her, like she ends up with the
No.
pets. It's just that they help her learn to love people again. And it does it in a very earnest and like forward way. I don't know. It's an indie darling film too. Like it's got good music. It's got really good
Hmm.
actors.
Kate
They have
Micucci did a lot of the music for the soundtrack too, which makes sense.
yes,
Like, use your talent.
use your talent. Yep.
Yeah.
But like the actors in it are charming and fun, and the shots are really well done. Like it's well filmed.
Hmm.
It just never goes far enough to be gross or weird, despite always edging
Despite
towards that.
every scene being a split fucking second away.
Yes, yeah. There's a weird tension to it. Like I don't think this movie is amazing, but it's just a very solid indie film. It feels
Yeah.
like because it ends up being weird and offbeat rather than
It
gross.
I think the word would be quirky.
Yeah, yeah.
Quirky indie movie,
It's
oddly
it's a
enough.
very stereotypical quirky indie movie, honestly, in a lot of ways. Like
Yes.
even for the end credits, they do like little cardboard cutout things and stuff,
Hmm.
which is oh yeah, okay. Like it's a quintessential indie movie. Like you were saying about an hour or so into this, you said I could see this watching this at any indie film festival and it winning like a second or third place or even
Yes.
first or something. Like it's just
And
like
then you
it'd be
release it
loved
in an
there.
actual theater and people immediately leave.
Would just be like, what the fuck is this? This is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, they're not making any poop jokes. What is this?
This is an A24 romantic comedy, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Man, okay, so Kate is living in Minnesota with her boyfriend, and she
Mm.
can't get pets because he's super allergic. And she's working on an astrology. No, it's not even an astrology app. She's working on a night sky app,
Yeah, she's working on
which
an
is
app that's about the sky. Yeah.
it's just a phone app that you put up anywhere and it shows you the current night sky. These are apps that exist. They're free.
Yeah.
They usually get paid by advertisements. But her boyfriend's like, "Wow, this is a really good app. You're gonna make so much money off of this. I love everything you're doing, Kate Micucci, my love of my life, who I will never
hmm
betray."
Anyways, then she goes to sleep that night, and he instantly betrays her by deleting all of her work after he downloads it onto his own hard drive so he can say that it was his.
Hmm. Hmm. And then he becomes a big app Silicon Valley superstar by making this app that he stole, I
hmm
guess,
hmm They
somehow.
kind of, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like they portray him as I don't know. It's weird because I want to make fun of this a bit because he ends up doing a conference at the end of it, and that's kind of
Hmm.
like one of the big dramatic moments is he's doing this app conference and he's like the keynote speaker. But it also feels like he's big but only big in small indie app developer circles.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's not a Mark Zuckerberg. He thinks he is, but he's super not. Like they portray him as like, because he's doing a keynote, but it's at like this tiny little conference. They've got like this shitty podium, and I'm like, I've been at conferences like this. Like I've been at these places. But he feels like
he's the
Jonathan
Jonathan
Blow.
Blow. Yes!
Oh my god! We both did it! We both did it! We both went there! Yes! He's the Jonathan Blow of app developers. He's like well known and well respected in his small field, but anybody else doesn't know who the fuck he is. He's that.
I can't believe we both went to the same. That's really funny.
Jonathan Blow. No insult in that way to Jonathan Blow. I'll insult Jonathan Blow in a lot of other ways, but I don't think that Jonathan Blow is a thief. Put it that way.
But well, allegedly. No,
not alleged. Jonathan Blow didn't steal that, but just like the level of fame that he has, right? Like where he's a big fish, but it's also a small pond.
Right. This is not important. So the point is, she's talking to her dog about, hey, what do you think if we just like ran away, went somewhere else? What about San Francisco? What do you think? And then a hard cuts to her dog, and dog's like, yeah. Go to San Francisco. That sounds great. So then they move. She moves to San Francisco, and then is just randomly at a park, the hippie park for yo-yoing in San Francisco. You know the one if you've been there. Yes, and Samwise Gamgee is there yo-yoing, and he smacks her in the face with his yo-yo. So then, as he's apologizing, she's like, "Oh yeah, I just drove here. I didn't even have a place to live." And he's like, "Oh, I have an apartment for rent. I guess you can have it. Sure, whatever."
This was weird.
So she gets an apartment by just getting hit in the face with a yo-yo at the park. I guess. Sure. This part of the film moves so quickly. There's so many things that happen.
The beginning just goes really, really fast. Yeah, 'cause she gets these pets like right after breaking up with him, and I mean, well, him running out on her in the middle of the night, and immediately she's in San Francisco, and then she's getting hit.
Because she gets it's that order. Like he runs out, she immediately gets 2 pets. She takes those pets to San Francisco. She gets hit in the face with a yo-yo. She has an apartment, and then it cuts to her already having a job at an astrology app company. Yeah, she's like a lead programmer for them or something. And I'm like, wait, what happened? How did this happen?
They just kind of brush over it because honestly, it's not important. Yep. And I think that's fine. Like they do an okay job of it. They're just like, she fucked off, dropped her whole life and moved to San Francisco because holy shit, did her boyfriend devastate her? Because goddamn, that is like the most brutal fucking thing. It is awful.
So she's talking to her coworker friend, and she's like, "Hey, I set up this hot date with this guy." It's like, "Oh, that's great. You know, astrologically, shit's about to get real tonight, though. So you should watch out, because the supermoon is happening, and that means due to astrological. You wrote an app. We're working on an app. That means things are going to be bad. Oh, maybe I should cancel the date. No, go on the date. It'll be fine, but shit's going to get real bad." So
yeah, Mars is retro right now. If you look at it in the sky, it's 16-bit, and that's very scary.
Yep. So then as she's riding her bike on the bike path, some guy like elbows her and knocks her over, causing her to be late for her date. And then she gets like tire grease all over her face. And she just leaves. She doesn't even talk to the guy. She just leaves.
Because she feels so bad.
Yeah. So then as she's sitting in her house crying, surrounded by her pet, she's like, wow, you know, I wish there were guys like you 2 pets who I adore. And at that exact moment, both pets run out the door, and the supermoon shines brightly on the constellation Leo, which causes the astrological drawing of Leo up in the sky. Laser beams out of its eyes.
Yeah, to lean over and shoot the big lasers out of his eyes, and then what's the other one that does it? There's like a dog one that does it too, but I don't know what dog there is in the. astrological.
In the
I
zodiac?
don't think there is. Well, I mean, there's a year in Chinese zodiac there is, but not in like.
I mean, it might be that, to be honest.
I don't know, but there's another one that also shoots eye beams down at the other animal, and they both turn into the humans.
Oh man, yeah. So like the cat turns into Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution. Yep.
And the
the
dog
turns into a golden retriever
shit
in
brick
human
house.
form. It's just a golden retriever in human form. They did a perfect job.
He's a fucking tank, this man. Jesus Christ.
So both of them are just walking around naked, ass out.
Yep.
Which is very tasteful shots. And by tasteful, I mean zooming in awooga.
They have Ajax is the cat.
Yeah.
And he is sauntering down the street naked because he's a cat. And all the women are like, what the fuck? And of course, dropping plates and doing that whole thing. There's just... every time that I describe this movie, it sounds like something I should hate. But like, it's just done in such a way that he manages the swagger that he needs for that. Like, he just really has this look and stuff about him where he like walks up to all these people like sitting there eating dinner, and he's like, ma'am, can I have your coat? And she's like, sure.
And she's like,
and he doesn't yeah, he doesn't immediately put it on. He like walks down the street a little bit and like throws it over his shoulder and then slowly puts it on. And like, there's something about the way that they do these that just kind of works. Like
Justin Chatwin put in a great performance
I think every actor
Catman.
did. Yeah, I think the dog did too. I think the dog did a lot of work on that.
Steve Howie is that
Steve
actor.
Howie is his name?
Which is not a very well-known actor, I would say.
No.
Either. But they both did a good job of being a cat and a dog. So if they get clothes, goofy stuff happens. Like they wander around naked getting clothes. And then they're standing outside near a food truck in an alley. And the cat and the dog are talking, and the cat's like, hey, we gotta, like, now that we're humans, we can't go back to Kate Micucci's house because that'll be weird. So we both have to, like, try and win her love and date her so we can get back on that couch. Because it's so comfortable. You remember how comfortable that couch was? Oh, well, why don't we both just go? No. It's always two. There's sometimes a guy and a girl and a girl, but it's always two. They can't do three. And you and I are both like, well, they can do three.
I know a few people that do three.
Or four more. I mean, yeah.
4
like
or 5, yeah.
This cat's not very well educated.
No.
And, those choices. So the cat
we've got to have a rivalry. Yeah. It's only Team Jacob, Team Edward. There's no Team Jadeward.
Yeah, no, apparently. So the cat just saunters off and was like, all right, the game's on, dog. Let's win Kate's love.
Yeah, you've got to find a way to get money. I have my own plans. And
I guess. Sure.
He goes to a modeling agency and then just goes on the catwalk and gets hired as a model as the next big thing.
The way he's walking down the catwalk is just like like shit. It's like the dumbest fucking thing.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. We got air, bud.
Got air, bud.
Fucking A.
But again, it all sounds very dumb, but it's done well enough. He has enough of a swagger, and they just kind of make enough fun of it, but also being charming about it. He becomes like this big model who everyone loves, and his only name is Diego. And he has
a backstory.
Which is from the soap opera that she watches while she's with pets. Yes, he took the backstory of the lead soap opera guy. And his ad campaign is like, unleash your natural predator.
Yeah, unleash your natural predator. Have animal magnetism.
Yeah, because he's a cat, you see. And he's not the Hannibal Lecter cat from Cats and Dogs. You can't do that.
He's not. But he could be.
The advertising
Yeah.
campaign is also him shirtless on a billboard looking down at his dick.
At his
Very
dick.
obviously.
Yes, it's very much a look at my penis.
So
Ad.
it's really
like,
wild that they have him do the
God.
downward look on that billboard.
But the dogs doesn't have a plan because he's a golden retriever and he's just like, I'm a dog. So the
Yes.
dog's just like wandering around, and there's a guy who's like, ow, my ankle.
Is
And
it
he
his
falls
ankle?
down. Yeah, his
Is that what it
ankle. So then he runs up to the guy. He's like, oh no, are you hurt? Do you need help? Oh God, why aren't there humans around when you need them? Wait, I'm a human.
was?
I know just where to take you. And he grabs him and starts running down the street at full speed with this grown man in his arms. And he's running, and he goes to the animal shelter. And the lady at the animal shelter is like, no, you have to go to a real hospital. What the fuck are you doing?
Please take him to a hospital.
Please take him to a hospital.
This man needs actual medical help. Please help him.
So then he runs to a hospital, and the whole time there's this like 4-person running group that sees him running around the street with this man in his arms, and they confront him at the hospital, and they're like, you need to teach us how to run like you. You're so good at running.
Yes, because he's able to. He happens to be running on the same path as them, but he's like passing all of them.
Yeah,
while carrying this man. And so they're like, what the fuck, dude? How did you get this good?
Mm-hmm.
And so he becomes a professional trainer out of nowhere.
Yep.
Which his training methods include forcing them to walk on all fours in the park and spraying them saying, bad doggy, bad boy.
And you were good boys. You deserve a treat. Oh, was this like nutritional bar or something?
And he's like, this is the best treat on the planet.
The best treat on the fucking planet. You'll love it.
Keeps your coat shiny.
Now get this leash on. He's like, wait, what? It's like the most fetish content shit ever.
Like it just doesn't quite go far enough to be weird in the way that you'd think that it'd be gross and awful. No. It's just kind of generally amusing. Nothing in this movie is also like laugh out loud funny.
No,
it all just feels very like, haha. It's like sensible chuckle the movie.
No, there was the scene where the dog got a hold of a can of Red Bull, and then got 6 more of them.
Yes.
Yes. And then just started eating sugar everywhere. And stealing ice cream.
Pouring sugar on his ice cream and then grabbing the sugar container and shoving it in his mouth while he's going like
Yeah.
The one kid, he like starts drinking Red Bull. He's like, wow, that's really good. And the kid looks at me, he's like, yeah, I'm not allowed to have those. And it shows him with like a pile of like 8 of them. Like, oh no, don't give the golden retriever 8 Red Bulls.
No. So he runs around, steals a Frisbee, and then takes a pack of dogs into the park to pee on a tree.
Yep, yeah. Yep. He's peeing on the tree and all the dogs are running around sniffing at him. And he's like, no, guys, don't go away. I'll be right back. I just gotta, come back. And he's
it's so weird.
He ends up in a doggy pile, like sleeping on the dogs, half the dogs sleeping on him. Like this is a really cute dog pile. It's just...
And there's scenes that like, man, so he's walking around looking for his home again because he doesn't know where it is. And he goes by this like bar that has a call girl outside.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like propositioning him, and he's like, yeah, I just want somewhere like warm to sleep for the night. I don't know. I'm looking for my home. Oh, don't worry. Do you have any money? Because like we could do this. And yeah, like, I got money. Why?
All I have is this stuff that's in cash, they say.
This cash crap. Yeah, that's all I got is cash. I don't know what this is. Like, don't worry, come on. And she leads the dog man to her hotel room.
Yes.
And then the immediate next scene, because this could have been gross, but the immediate next scene is he's like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. I want to leave. I'm out of here. I'm going to get louder until you leave me alone. And it's like, that could have been really, really gross. And instead it was like kind of funny and charming. Somehow.
And just
like,
very
okay.
Innocent and playful while also being close to being over a line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she ends up dating Ajax. How does
The
she?
cat,
And
yeah.
she sees him. Oh God, where does she see him again? Oh, because he comes
Uh,
by her house and he's like, "Oh, I
he
saw
comes
this
by to
cat."
be like, "Hey, I saw your cat at the
Yeah.
park."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Are you the
and
owner of this cat? And he's doing like the stretch and like,
sexy poses and stretching and yeah.
yeah, licking his hands and eating goldfish out of. God.
And she's like, "Oh my god, that cat is so hot. I want to bone that cat."
Mm-hmm.
Man,
That
acting like a
man, it's a
cat.
man. He's got an
Yeah.
animal magnetism, but
Fucking
he
Christ.
leads her out and is like talking to her and asks her out on a date at the end of it, kind of thing. He's like I'll see you at your house at 6:30, and then the dog sees him and is like, "What, dude? Like, what are you doing?" Because the dog was sleeping in the park, kind of thing, with all the other dogs. He's like, "Well, like, I'm getting back in the house," and he's like, "Well, I've got a plan too." And then it enter probably the best parts of this movie, which is then her at her desk at the office, and she's talking to her office friend, and she's going like, "Oh, I met this really hot guy," kind of thing, on and on. They're like, "Wait, Diego?" And they figure out that it's this hot supermodel
The
guy and all this
supermodel
kind of
cat,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I could really use a coffee." And then it's like, "Oh, we've got a new guy. Hey, do you want a coffee? Do you want coffee? Okay, I'm here. Here you go. I'm a good boy, right?"
I'm a good boy. I'll do what you want. Tell me what to do. Yeah.
He's the creepiest / most helpful office assistant ever. He starts
Man,
like pushing cups into her hand when she goes, like, as she reaches
like
for a coffee
nudging
cup,
them.
he
Yeah.
like nudges them with his nose to like
Yeah.
get them into her hand faster and stuff. She's like, "Okay, you go and make some copies now. What
That
kind
would
of
be
copy? Eight
great.
8.5 by 11. Bye, go do that."
Yeah. Man.
But yeah, he's just super, super helpful, good boy at the office. It is the perfect job.
Right.
I think that what makes this work, here's a scene to kind of explain why this movie works rather than being gross. And it's that their boss comes in and they call her the Ice Queen, and she's like this hard-nosed business lady kind of thing. And the dog man goes over to her and he's like, "Hey, do you want to have lunch with me?" Like, just to the boss, just out of nowhere. She's like, oh, okay. Like, he introduces himself to all the people there because it's his kind of first day, and he's talking to all of them, and he is just very friendly and nice to all of them. And then when he sees her, he's like, "Hey, do you want to go to lunch?" And she's like, "Oh, okay," because he's just so earnest about it. And then there's this little scene of him being like, she's like, "How did you know?" And he's like, "I can just tell that you felt lonely and sick." Like, and she's like, "Yeah, the chemo's really hard." And they have this like kind of touching moment of him being like, "Well," she's like, "I got to keep up appearances. The company's not doing very well, so I'm trying to be really hard, but like, and I don't mean to be so awful all the time, but it's, like, I worried that people will see my wig and understand how sick I am, and the chemo's making it really hard for me because I'm so tired all the time." And he's like, like, people just kind of like you for who you are. Just be, and like, they have this really
Yeah.
good heart to heart, and it's like, that could have been, like, they didn't need to have scenes like that, but those are the scenes that make this work as a movie, right? Where it ends up not being gross, and it ends up being charming and kind of just wholesome fun, because it's got those little moments of earnest, like, no, these are just kind of decent people, right?
Yeah.
Or pets.
So, well, right after that scene, Kate goes on her date with her cat.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
but
Yeah, then it
they're
goes back the other
outside.
direction.
They go the other way. But they're outside, and like a breeze blows her scarf up to a tree, so he jumps up into the tree to get the scarf. And then because he's a cat, he can't get down from the tree. So they call the fire department, and they're like, "Hey, come on, pal, just go back with your date. Why are you up in that tree?" I don't
Jesus
want
Christ,
to. I
dude,
don't know
get
how
on
to
the
get down. It's
fucking
too high up.
ladder. The one guy's
What-
like, "Okay, man, we all have wives and lives to go back to. She looks like a good girl. Just
What the
fucking step
hell?
on the ladder and go home.
Yeah, and he's
It's
like,
late."
well, do I get a treat if I do? Yeah, sure. Oh, there's a
Whatever,
treat
man.
involved. No. So then he goes down. But they go back to her apartment
Mhm.
and they're like sitting on the couch and she's like, "Hey, you wanna get frisky? You know, like a cat, friskies, you get it? You get it?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." Oh, what's that? Is that a you got the TV on? How about we watch TV? Okay. Yeah, there might be a romantic movie or something. How about this? Oh, is that a remote? What is that thing? It's magic. It changes the TV. Oh, he's like
He's
pawing
like
at the
swatting at it with
remote
his
to like
paw.
change the
Yep.
channel, and then it changes to a channel of just like bird videos for cats, with like birds chirping. He's like,
And he's like, whoa.
oh. The whole time she's like, hey, you
Yep.
wanna sleep together? He's like, yeah, let's sleep. Let's go sleep. And then it hard cuts to her in the middle of the bed with him sleeping on the pillows horizontal above her, fully
Yes.
clothed.
Fully clothed in a suit. And her in the
Just
middle,
like,
just
well,
kind of
that
like,
was awkward.
well, okay. And then it hard cuts from that scene because
Yeah.
she also, there was also some other stuff that happens in between this. And
Uh-huh.
I think this, because this is a couple dates in now, they go
It
through a
is,
few
yeah.
montage things. And she also kind of ends up sort of dating the dog man.
Uh-huh.
And so it hard cuts from the cat on the top of the pillows where she's sleeping, and then it is playing a little song, and it zooms down, and the cat disappears, and it's another scene. But now the dog is laying in her bed, but it's across like her belly, like it's just like
Yeah.
laying directly
No, he's
across her on
across her
top of her.
feet horizontal
Well,
on
yeah,
the
but it
bottom
wasn't.
of the bed, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't quite at the bottom though. It was like
Yeah.
halfway. He was like
It
halfway up,
it
kind of
and
laying
the whole
across
time
her.
she's just sitting there staring up at the ceiling like,
Like,
huh.
what the fuck is going on with my life? And then the next scene is her going back to the office and going like, so those two guys that I've been telling you about, I slept with them both.
Yeah, it's just
And
like,
the
"Oh, you
lady's like,
slept with them?
whoa, slept with them. And she's
Oh,
like,
shit."
yeah, I didn't see them naked though. I didn't actually.
Yeah, we
I
just
just want
slept,
to. I want to
though.
be clear. I did not fuck my pets, kids. This is a PSA. Don't
Yes.
fuck your pets.
Yeah, and then, like, her explanation is, "Well, I just felt loved, and, like,
Yes,
we didn't have to have sex to feel
a
something." And I'm
connection.
like, "That
Yeah.
makes sense. That's fair. That's fair." You
Yeah,
know?
like,
Like, yeah.
and this is where the show just
Yeah, that's
it
fair.
still
You
works.
know?
Like, it's still okay. There's some good
Mhm.
scenes of like Diego going out on his photo shoot, and she has to come and see, like, she wants to come and see him,
Mhm.
and he's supposed to go to the Olympic pool, and he has to be a swimmer, but he can't. He doesn't want to dive in because he's a cat, and the dog's there, and he's like, because she shows up and she shows up with the dog man, and the dog man's like, I'll go in the pool, and they're like, no, you're not the model, don't go in.
You're not the
And they're like,
model.
okay, here, how
Stop.
about
Yeah.
you hold a ball and you can just do sexy stuff with the ball on the edge of the pool, kind of thing. And he's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And they try to toss the ball to him, but it lands in the pool, so the dog jumps in the pool and is swimming, and it's just, oh god,
Doggy
that whole
paddling towards it. You're like, God damn
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
God
the
damn it.
whole thing's just a fucking
Yep.
mess.
It's really good. So, the dog and the cat are then fighting over, like, hey, only one of us can get with Kate Micucci to get back into the house. Like, come on, let's stop sabotaging each other. Come
Yeah.
on. And they're both like arguing and fighting because the dog like lured the cat back down with a rubber mouse on a fishing pole.
Yes. In the middle
But
of one of the
they're
days,
arguing
yeah.
in front of Samwise Gamgee's tiny house.
Get back in your fucking troll cave, Carl!
Yeah, fuck you, Carl. Fuck you, Carl. Shut the fuck up, Carl. Get out of here. Let us fight, Carl.
Carl,
Your
go fucking sleep in your weird troll house.
Your fucking troll house is in the middle of the street, Carl. That's not legal. Fuck you, Carl.
It actually is. Carl kind of fucking sucks. When there's a bicyclist that goes by and is like, get out of the bike lane, asshole.
Yeah.
He's got parked his tiny house there.
I'm a little disappointed that, man, I like Sean Astin a lot, and I feel like his performance is very meh in this movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately. But it is really fun that the cat and the dog are like, fuck you, Carl.
They have
It's
a lot
really
of fun
good
with
scene.
that, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, after the Olympic pool shoot, she's gonna go on another date with the cat, I guess. And actually, this is a really funny scene because he's standing outside, like waiting for her to show up, and he sees a cat walk by. He's like, "Oh, how's it
Oh
going, you
God, yeah.
sexy little tart?"
I can see you're in heat.
Yeah, and then she walks up, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Oh, you're here too, is what he says.
Yeah. Oh, you're here too. Fucking
yeah. And
A.
she's like, "What the fuck is?"
And then the next scene is like the dog humping the photocopier, and it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah, so she slowly clues into them
That this is
being
weird.
pets.
Yeah.
Yes, this
And
is
and
this is a little fucked.
and the last thing is she's slow dancing with the cat
Mhm.
in human form, Diego. And he's purring, and she's like putting her hand through his hair, and then she notices a white spot in his hair, which is the same spot where the white spot was in her cat.
Yeah,
And she like freaks out, and she's like, okay, maybe you should leave, actually, this is weird.
mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
So after that, she goes to Sam's tiny house, troll house,
yeah. His
and
hobbit
she's like,
hole.
yeah, she's like, hey, do you have alcohol? I have tea. Do you want tea? All right, we're gonna have to do this sober.
It's like, it was for you.
Yeah. Anyways, she goes on this big montage tirade of telling the whole story of these two hot guys that are probably her pets.
This is a fun scene. I like how they did it
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have her explain it. She just
Mm-hmm.
they do it mute and they do a little like song over it, and she kind of mimes all the things that they've been doing, including fucking the humping the photocopier because the dog
Yes.
gets excited and
Because she
starts
starts
humping the
like
photocopier,
fake humping his his
his
printer
his computer
to show it.
printer, and
Yeah,
she's
it's like there's some
yeah.
funny stuff. Yeah.
It's just because Kate Micucci is honestly, she's a comic genius. She's very good.
Yeah.
She just has a lot of fun
Mm-hmm.
with it, and it's good. And they have a very nice scene of them like sitting down in front of this like kind of abandoned amusement park. It might
Like
not
a
be
kid park,
abandoned,
like a
but like a
fairyland
kid park.
thing or
Yeah, it's
another.
like
Yeah.
children's fairyland or something.
Yeah.
And they're eating cherries, and Sean Astin shows her to like squeeze the pit and like fire it off fast at the sign, and they're like shooting these cherry pits at the sign as they're sharing drinks. And this movie, I guess that's another thing that this movie does well that I like, is that it establishes all of the characters that you're supposed to like and
Mm-hmm.
gives them likable traits. So even when the dog does something weird like hump the photocopier, he also has like all these moments of like getting her coffee really fast and in funny dog ways, and like
Mm-hmm.
being really nice, and like or caring for the cancer lady, right? Or and the
Yeah,
cat
yeah.
does the same thing,
Or
like the
taking that guy who broke his ankle or whatever. Yeah. Like there's
yeah,
stuff where it's
taking
like, oh, this is just somebody who, is trying to be nice and friendly, and yeah.
yeah, they're all redeemable, fun, nice people
Yeah.
in various ways. Like they might have flaws, but they make them charming, and you can see why she would like any of them. And it like a romantic movie, they all have things that you
Yeah.
would like about them. And Sean Astin just tells her like all these stories and is just really nice and listens to her, and they have a good little date moment kind of thing. So you
Mm-hmm.
get set up for why they'll be together, obviously, at the end of this movie. And yeah, then she needs to do this is where the movie kind of comes to a head because she has to go. She's talking to like, oh God, like all this is happening right when I have to show off my app, and it's at this big developers conference, and my
Mm-hmm.
ex is going to be there who stole all my ideas and is now, famous in this community kind of thing. So it feels like shit. And then she kind of goes back to work and tells her work buddy who's been like, oh, you know him, maybe we can get help from him. And then she finally tells her, well, no, I know him because of all the shit that he did to me, because he's an awful person. And
Yeah.
yes, then her work friend's like, well, then let's fuck him up.
Yeah,
And
let's fuck it up. I got a bat. Let's go.
yeah,
She's
and
great.
I like that moment too. Well,
Yeah.
because they also do the dog. The dog's great there too, because the dog
Yeah.
also does this whole thing of he's sitting there listening to all of this,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like. Well, they show the two of them talking, and then suddenly you hear this crunch, like at the end of the story of
Yeah.
how he betrayed her, and it like zooms out a little bit, and the dog's standing there, and he's just like crushed this like coffee
can or
maker
something,
kind of thing
yeah.
in his hand, like, and it's like a tin, like it looks like it's fairly substantial, and he's just crushed it. He's huge, by the way. This guy's fucking jacked, like in an unreal way, and he's just crushed it. They're like, and he's like, do you want some coffee? Here, look, it's fresh coffee beans, and it's like, oh, he's ready to fucking just take this man and break him up.
Yeah.
So like they do some good little bits like that too. I like that they make Goku swallow a goldfish a couple times.
They do make
do
Goku swallow a goldfish, and it's very funny.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
so then Kate approaches both her cat and her dog as humans, and is like, "Hey, you're my pets, right? No. Do you want the ball? Do you want the toy? Do ya?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the toy. No, I don't. I'm just joking with you. Go get the toy. Okay.
Okay, I really want.
Do you want to wear the leash again? Yeah, I want to wear the leash.
You want to go to walk? You want to go for walkies?
Well, she says WALK
Um,
to make sure that it's him, and it's
mhm.
like, yeah, okay. And they could have done the fetish thing with the leash again, but they didn't, and it's so fucking close every time.
It's so close to being weird and gross, and
And
it's
it
kind of
isn't
weird, but
somehow.
it's not really gross. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just.
So then she enlists their help to gain her
Mm.
confidence back for the conference,
Yes.
basically. And they talk her up and, hey, you just have to get your conference. You just have to be a predator, whatever the hell fuck the cat says. And
The cat does a good thing of
yeah,
like, well, they have the stereotype thing of the cat doesn't
No.
care what anybody thinks, but like it
Mhm.
works. He's just like, well, who cares what he did before? Your app now is good. Like you're still a good programmer, so
exactly.
go crush them. And he does a really good job of doing an inspiration thing, and it
Mhm.
just works.
So they go to the conference. The dickhead ex-boyfriend shows up, and the dog sabotages the entire conference like podium that he's going to do his speech at by
Yeah.
rubbing all over it because he's super allergic to cats and dogs.
Yes.
And the whole time the cat is like rubbing his face and rubbing up against his clothes and shit to get his allergies going.
Mm-hmm.
And they cause him to have a full-blown allergy like outbreak.
Yeah, he has to get taken away on a stretcher and stuff. They do a whole they team up for this one because they're like, well, like, where did the dog man go? And he's like, he's doing other things. And like, so the cat's in on it, like they kind of work together. And this is where too, like I said before, I feel like they don't make him out to be like a Facebook Mike Zuckerberg, but he feels like he is, because he comes in with like this assistant where he's like, oh, and he takes off his sunglasses and passes them to her, and he's like, yeah, I'm a big shot kind of thing. I taught Kate Mikushi everything she knows. I gave her a little help here and there kind of thing. And then Diego, as he's known, the big supermodel, comes in, and everybody's like, oh my god, what the fuck is he doing at this tiny
it's an actual
conference?
star.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like that's where I was saying I really do feel like they pull it back enough that it works, because it's not done as stupid as you think at first. And then he goes over to her and he's like, hey babe, like you're the best, and he's like, you're the most beautiful woman in the entire world, and like gives her a big hug in front of him. And then he, so there's that whole thing. And his assistant that he was being all big shot with, she's like, oh my god, so she's all over him too. And he just looks like
Diego,
this loser.
can you call me? Wink, 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 wink. Here's my number. Wink, wink, wink.
Well, and he even says to her at the end, oh god, there's a really good moment at the end where she's like, can I have your autograph? Like, do you wanna see me sometime? And he's like, no. And just turns away and like leaves.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
And then she's like, oh my god, he's so hot.
Yeah.
So fucking ridiculous. Yep. So she does her speech about how astrology is great and love doesn't have a species, which is not the message of the film, to be honest. That's gross.
That wasn't. That one was weird. Yeah.
And then they go to an after party at a bar, and they keep giving the dog shots of tequila
because they think it'll be funny, which seems like a bad idea.
Yep. And the dog gets real drunk and starts getting in a fight with this big bearded guy because he started dry humping his girlfriend on the dance floor, which is gross.
Yeah.
And the bearded guy, by the way, is the narrator for Ori and the Will-O-Wisps.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
All
he almost
right.
gets in a fight with him, but then the cat butts in. Is like, "Hey, pal, he just had too much to drink. Maybe cool it." He's like, "Dude, this guy's being really fucking weird. What the fuck, man?
Bearded guy is totally in the right here, guys.
What the fuck?" And then the cat scratches his face, and then he has to leave. I guess
Yeah,
I
they
don't
have
know,
this whole
but
thing,
they're saying like the whole point is they're getting drunk and doing all this because the cat and the dog have to go back to being humans, or well, from humans to cat and dog. Which
Yeah.
you and I thought they explained that it would take 12 years for that to happen because of
Yeah, this
astrological
part didn't make
bullshit.
sense. Yeah.
And then apparently it just happened that night, I guess, for reasons.
Yeah.
I guess. But before they go, they're like, "Hey, Kate, you have to move on. You can't date either of us. You have to date your landlord, who really likes you and he's charming and fun."
Go date that weird fucking troll, Carl. Get back in your troll hole, Carl!
Yeah.
Anyways, you
Yeah.
should go into his troll hole. It's kind of nice in there.
Yeah, you got to pay the troll toll to go into the troll hole.
With Carl, the troll.
With Carl. So they turn back into cat and dog. The dog goes back with Kate, and the cat fucks off.
Yeah, this was weird because the cat
guess.
just. Well, the cat even says, "I'm gonna go and sow some wild oats, if you know what I mean." And you're like, "Oh, you're.
Ew.
Oh, yeah."
Ew.
Like,
Yeah. And then like Kate Micucci and Samwise, I'm just gonna keep calling him Samwise, leave in their tiny home on a trip to the beach, where he parks his tiny home on the side of the street, and that's very illegal.
Kind of an asshole.
You can't just move your tiny home to a national park and now you live there. That's not how it works. And
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, Ajax never came with." And they hear scratching inside, and it turns out he did, and he loved her, and he wanted to live with them anyway, and all is good because the whole family is together or something. Yay! And then it ends.
And then we end on the cat watching TV because it can use the remote,
Oh
and
yeah,
the dog
he learned how to use the
drinking out of a tequila bottle. it's licking a tequila bottle, and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh no!"
Because the dog's an alcoholic now.
Oh no! Yeah, they ended.
It would have been funnier
weird.
if he was drinking a Red Bull or something. Actually, I think than the
Yeah, they think they could have done that.
They should have done that better, I think. But
I mean, it's not. This is not a perfect movie. I
No.
wouldn't necessarily recommend it to a ton of people. Although it's just kind of a cute little indie film. It's a light trifling.
yeah,
Like
it's
it
extremely
goes down
indie,
smooth.
for sure. And you could tell like some of the actors in this, the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend,
Mhm.
he is also a voice actor on DuckTales with Kate Micucci.
With Kate Micucci. Yeah,
So like it's just that group of actors
they
that
had a
kind of
chemistry
knew each
together.
other, got together, and they're like, "Let's make a movie." I think that's what
It
happened.
feels like that. It has a
Yeah.
feel like that. It feels like everybody was bought into this movie in a way that they
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have been, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because like the story shouldn't really be a thing that they're like, "Let's do that movie."
It shouldn't work. It shouldn't work
No.
the way that it does. But I wouldn't say that it's great or anything, but it
Mhm.
does what it's supposed to do. It's a nice little charming fairy tale. Like it comes across, instead of being a gross out weird sex kind of thing, it ends up being
Yeah.
more of a like lighthearted modern fairy tale kind of thing. Is the way I would describe it.
It's
feels
like
very
Napoleon
fairy tale.
Dynamite Love on a Leash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
somehow.
yeah. Like it's a lot of very in the Napoleon Dynamite way. It's a lot of just characters kind of sitting around and having kind of normal conversations in a way that people don't in movies. It's got that. I mean, that very indie film kind of thing, right? But yeah, it's got that kind of dialogue, and it just works. It's just kind of cute. It's
Yeah.
fun. I started counting pets but also it got a little weird when the pets were more of heavy pets.
Do you count the cat licking her ear as a pet?
That one was a little weird. Yeah, I mean, I had to.
What about when the dog was giving the 4 runners treats and then patting them on the head? Is that a pet?
Yeah, that's canonically a pet.
Look out! How do we count
They were all
pets?
good boys. He called them good boys when he did it.
How do we count
so,
pets in this movie? It's so weird.
I'm just gonna move on to rating the animals. Oh, which are people? Should we rate people?
Yes.
We're trending. Okay, we said there was no Zuckerberg in this, but we're trending dangerously close to Zuckerberg territory if we start rating people.
Well, we should definitely rate Sam, which is the dog.
Yeah, the troll. Yeah, of course.
No, that's Samwise. That's a different.
Oh, Sam. Yeah, no, it's because Summit.
That's
and
Carl.
Then he says, "My name's Sam," and they go, "Sam," and he goes, "Yeah, Sam."
Yeah, his name is Sam. Summit.
Okay, but you can't call one of them Sam the whole movie, and then all of a sudden call the dog Sam, and expect me to keep up.
No. Well, his name's Carl, though.
God damn it!
Fuck you, Carl. Right. Summit, the golden retriever, likes to play ball. Gets drunk. Really loves
cuddle putties.
Sugar and caffeine. Does good cuddles. Is a very loyal, good boy. 12 out of 10?
10 out of 10 would fuck that printer again.
I guess. Yeah. Are we rating?
You can't copy how good of a boy Sam is.
No, but they did talk about actually trying to clone him, and then he's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they do he just says yes to everything. Yeah, okay. I'm in. Yeah, I'm a good boy. I'm just happy to be here and involved.
What was the cat's name? Yeah, Diego is Ajax is his cat name.
His cat name is Ajax, and his
Diego is his
name
stand
name.
Diego. Yeah, Ajax and his stand Diego. Ajax is a good boy. I guess. I don't know.
He's an apex predator out of 10. He shows all of his predator instincts. His animal side gets unleashed.
Out of 10. Yeah. And then we should rate Carl. Samwise is a sweet boy, a lovable, soft boy who would never harm a fly.
I was dazzled by your awesome yo-yo moves.
You're very good.
I never injured anyone before. I guess the rental.
I believe that of Sean Astin. He seems soft.
He's a sweet boy.
He's just a soft, sweet boy.
I fix things.
Yeah, we stand Sam Astin.
I'm helping to.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Out of 10.
All right. And those are our cats and dogs from Unleashed, the Kate Micucci, Sean Astin, Goku,
whatever movie.
Dog fucking movie that we liked. Enjoy.
How does this happen?
12 out of 10 would have dogs and cats in a polycule with Kate Micucci again.
What the fuck? Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. 102 episodes now. Thanks for checking us out, talking about us. You can catch us on Twitter at RoughCutsCast. If you ever want to email us any suggestions or any fan art or anything, that is roughcutscast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And
you can also join our Patreon, which would be very helpful. Boyk spent some money getting this movie today so that we could watch a nice ad-free experience.
Yeah, I have a complaint
immediately
about
interrupted
that.
by a lot of ads.
I have a complaint about that. I spent $2 renting this movie so I wouldn't have to watch ads, and then the version of the film they gave us was implicitly the free ad version.
Correct.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it took us like 15 extra minutes to film this because it was,
I'm very mad at fucking Prime Video right now.
Yeah. But yeah, we really appreciate all the Patreon people. We're trying to put up some stuff for all the people on the Patreon. And of course, we always release our stuff early for you. So you want to get in on that and help support us, and by that I mean mostly Boix, who buys things like PAL Region DVD players and stuff so we can get appropriate movies, then we'd really appreciate it. There's a lot of work and money that goes into some of the back end stuff of this, and yeah, it helps alleviate some of the costs. So
yeah. Pretty much since this movie ended, I've been checking this website, but it hasn't changed yet. It's called Is Diego Dead?
Oh my
it just
god,
shows a big picture of Diego shirtless, and it hasn't updated saying no yet. So I'm very
isdiegodead.com. Please check out isdiegodead.com and make sure that Diego is not dead.
Please, I hope Diego's not dead. I love that man. Cat. As far as intro goes, we talked about what movie we wanted to watch beforehand.
We did.
So we could do the intro of like, hey, that Unleashed movie sounds kind of interesting.
I can
from that conversation.
Yeah, I can slap together a few things. I've got like some clips and stuff that I can kind of do something funny from the beginning. Hey kids. Hey kids. Do you ever think about like a really cool playlist that you can make? I have some cool indie acoustic rock to help you out in case you need a playlist for when you want to fuck your cat.
Not again.
Not again. Goddamn. Don't fuck your pets, kids.